My towel is frozen to the ceiling this morning on my clothesline. There's ice up there. Actually, the whole thing is ice. Huh, that's great. Morning. It's day number 3 here on Rock of Ages Lake. What a view for breakfast, huh? Pretty nice. It's very cold. It's still right about freezing. Probably about 31 by now. It's got down to 28 last night at my thermometer. It was pretty cold. There's a little ice in the tent. Water bottles I put inside the tent so they didn't freeze. I'm having my oatmeal in the pouch right now, and just watching this beautiful morning. My sleeping bag was all covered in frost this morning on the outside. It's on the top, so I have it out here airing out. I got everything out of the tent in a big pile here because it's about to rain or start raining in my tent when all that frost on the ceiling starts to rain inside. As soon as it gets liquid, I'm gonna get in there with a towel probably and dry that off. But plan today is to head south and probably go to Quadca Lake or to Campfire Lake, somewhere in there. That's kind of my plan. We'll see. Good oatmeal. About 11 o'clock. I'm just a little ways from the campsite. I got a really late start. Took a while to dry out that tent and sort of kicked back. There was a big cloud bank that kind of came in and lasted for an hour and a half, and then it finally cleared and beautiful clear blue skies again. So I missed out on a lot of sunning activity. So I'm on a little overlook of beautiful Rock of Ages Lake. Pretty nice. Keep walking. This whole section of trail along the east side of Rock of Ages provides just view after view after view of the lake. Wow, this is a beautiful thing. There's a tricky little spot. Big cairn there. Beautiful view of Rock of Ages. Did I mention I'd really love to have a canoe right about now? Be out this lake. Anyway, trail goes down here, down this hill, and a couple jumbled rocks, and then nothing. But if you look across to the next point, there's a little cairn right up there. So somehow you got to get across this grassy, swampy, wet area. We'll see how that goes. About 20 minutes after leaving Rock of Ages Lake, headed south, you can start to see Path Lake in the distance. And crossing a very interesting thing. It's just a big grassy field. It's really flat in here, and big dead skeletons of large pines scattered all over. Trail's a little hard to see in the grass. In the spring, this might be kind of difficult to see, but there are little cairns like that one right there, and occasional cut log or something. But there's another one in the grass. Then there's some cleared trees. You can see it pretty good again. But really interesting. Here's the Path Lake campsite, right on the trail, like a lot of them are. Right next to the water. Pretty little lake. Quite a notable rock formation here. Yeah, pretty little spot. A lot of flat grassy areas. I think this would be a nice place to camp actually. About 21 minutes after Rock of Ages. This is pretty neat. There's this large boulder size of a house with an actual overhang cave kind of thing in the backside there. Wow. You can climb up this rock and up these rocks. It looks like you can go all the way up on the top up there and get quite a view of Path Lake. Beautiful little valley here. I assume that's Mirror Lake. Little surviving stand of black spruce from the fire. And all the rest of them here burned. Makes you wonder how it missed it. And that is Path Lake. So I don't know if this is actually Mirror Lake down here or if it's some other unlabeled body of water. I'm not sure. I didn't look at my map yet. Pretty section of trail. This is actually the hardest part to follow of all the trail here so far. A lot of brush, but you find a cut log once in a while, like that one right there. Occasionally you see a scuff mark on the ground, like right there. And once in a great while a cairn, but mostly it's the cut logs that are visible, and sometimes you can see a little path through the grass where there's some broken off branches or between those two rocks right there. It's followable. It's just much more difficult than any other part of the trail so far. Most definitely a Mirror Lake. Wow, this is one of my favorite sections of the trail so far, I think. Kind of difficult to find, but see a cairn, you see a cairn, you see a cut off log. You can make your way through it. But wow, this is absolutely beautiful. Lots of rock formations just all over along here, dotted. Quite pretty section. And of course I've got an absolutely perfect weather. It's about 42 degrees, I'd say. 45 at the most. Sunny, calm, just fabulous. And there's just this big open field here. A big dead pine snag on top. It's too bad some of them didn't make it out here in the open. That'd be pretty neat. Pretty neat landmark. Boulder jumble. This is really neat. Trip note. Once the trail leaves Mirror Lake, it moves away from Mirror Lake, anyway, from that channel, and crosses the second swamp crossing. To go back up the hill, there's a switchback, pretty aggressive switchback, and then after that the trail's been cleared again. Wide open, trees are all trimmed, most of the brush is cut pretty good. It's very much easier to follow. And then it comes right back to Mirror Lake again. And now it's more up and down, rocky. Wow. That's beautiful. Here's the campsite of Mirror Lake. Sort of caught me off guard. You go way down in the swamp, go down back a ways, cross some boulder field, back straight up the hill, and then whammo, you're here. But it is way up above the water. Looks like there's a goat path going down there. I read that it was quite a ways down to the water. Wow, sure pretty spot. I think I might make myself some lunch. It's about 12:30, so it took me roughly an hour and a half, a little over, to make it here. Yeah, a little path here comes right back behind the campsite and comes to a really nice tent pad. A little slope to it, but it looks really nice. Right back here behind this pad. Now there is no latrine here. They haven't officially called it a campsite yet. I mean, eventually I'm sure they'll get one here, but still got the fire grate and the view. Yeah, lunch today is going to be here on Mirror Lake is going to be a Spam single and a tortilla with some Arby's sauce. And I have a little piece of foil in here to cook it on a fire with if I wanted to. And there is a fire grate and there are lots of dry sticks. But I just don't really feel like going through the work of cooking it. This is the section then south of Mirror Lake between here and Superstition Lake. Very different, open, smaller trees, much smaller jack pines, and it's scattered. They're so far apart. It's like a big field out here, kind of. Not much for landmarks. Thankfully there's enough wear on the trail right here, it's easy to follow. I assume this is the rock ledge halfway between Mirror Lake and Superstition, where you can get water most of the time. There's actually flowing water right now and it's been pretty dry, so it's not a lot, but looks clear. Flows from this upland bog there down to this upland bog, alders, black spruce, tamarack, and there's a survivor spruce, black spruce there. Survived the fire. Trail goes this way. Down there is Superstition Lake. Here's Superstition Lake. The trail comes from that corner, follows that rock ledge, the top of it there, and then it goes down, and it goes across there. At the base of that big cliff right there is a old beaver dam crossing. You gotta cross the lake and then follow the shoreline. If you're going this direction, east to west, it's pretty obvious, but if you're going west to east like I was, a lot of people have climbed that hill and it looks like the trail goes up the hill because that's the last cairn is at the bottom of that. And then there's also kind of a trail going up that way into the valley, and that's not the right trail either. That just ends. Checked it out, but I ended up take my pack off, climb the hill, and looked around, and I could kind of see some beaten grass over on the other side over here, but found a really nice crossing on rocks actually across that thing down a little further. Just don't cross on the beaver dam, go a little bit further in and you'll find the rocks. But and then it just follows this, and then supposedly out here on this peninsula is the Superstition Lake campsite. This is the rest of Superstition Lake that you can't see from the west or north side of the trail. There's a big green zone starting right over there. It ends right there, I can see it. It actually keeps going in that swamp back there. But big cliffs, big rocks in the water. Campsite's right here. There's the water access. Not terrible. Clear water anyway. Fire grate. Kind of brush has been cleared pretty good in here. You could get a tent right here somewhere really nice. Maybe two small ones maybe. Pretty rocky and uneven though. This wouldn't be too bad of a tent pad, but there's a lot of brushy sticks and junk on it. Oh, there's a little bit of a clearing right here too. Not too bad. More brushy sticks and a rock. Yeah, the concern is with these things is these pokey sticks go right through lightweight sil nylon tent floors pretty easily. A little bit of pressure, but it's a pretty spot. There's a survivor there, jack pine. Has to be a survivor since the fire, as is this spruce right here. Superstition Lake is right back there. We left the lake through a pretty brushy section, and all of a sudden we're in the green zone. And everything changes. Moss. Doing a very big path again. And once again, it's just so very quiet in here. Pretty nice. Yeah, here I am in the green zone, and it turned back into an old logging road. You can see the cut along this hillside here and the fill line along here. So, you know, 12 feet wide or 16 almost feet wide, I suppose. So we're definitely on another old logging road. I wonder if the rest of the trail now will continue to be logging road. Find out. The end of the green zone, headed east. It just really gets brushy. Oh yeah. We have some more clearing done. So they're not going to stay straight on the logging road, I suppose, anymore. Logging road is straight that way. I suppose it just all depends on where all the trees landed. Path of least resistance. And off over that way toward the south is Exploit Lake. A little view of it. I don't think we get very close to it. And then through the trees here I can see water some more, and that would be Myth Lake. I assume there'll be some good view of that one. Wow, that's kind of pretty. Back on the logging road again. Yeah, there's Myth Lake. Looks to be held up with a pretty substantial beaver dam. At least this is part of Myth Lake. There might be more body of water over there. Can't really tell. Yeah, I consulted the map, and yeah, absolutely. This is just a creek that goes. Myth Lake is just around the corner over that hill. This is just beaver dam created pond of the creek between Exploit and Myth. Pretty easy to follow. There's been plenty of tracks through here. Sometimes these get a little sketchy. Yeah, this must be Myth Lake way in the distance down there. Looks like there's a channel that goes around and snakes back to here with another beaver dam. It was a big creek system. And cool. Water looks pretty clear. The guy needed to get water there. Oh, I'm going back into the jack pines. Now here's the turnoff to go to Quadca. There's some blue flags. I've been walking on the pretty straight on the logging road. It's pretty thick, but there's a turnoff right there. You go down to Quadca Lake. A little tiny cairn there. Cairn. Well, it's a quarter mile down to Quadca Lake. But it's a canoe campsite. It should be pretty nice. There's a chance someone will be there, of course. And it's another half mile-ish up to Campfire Lake, which would be okay. However, Campfire Lake is pretty marshy shoreline. They say it's really difficult to get water there. And I kind of believe them, because some of the places they say you can get water are tough. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe I should, gray jays, or Canada jay, I guess officially now. I think maybe I should head down to Quadca. If there's somebody there, I can fill my water and then go stay at Campfire. It's a quarter mile down, and it could be a quarter mile back. It's about 10 after 3 only, so I've got time. Plus, I'd like to see the Quadca site, I guess. Well, every time I plan or sort of rely on a campsite, sure enough, there's somebody in it. So I went out to the Quadca site, and there was a guy camping there, canoeer. Real nice guy. He's pretty great, actually. Got to chat with him for a while. He's there by himself. Just got off of a 4-week canoe trip, I guess, and he's went back out here for a few nights. So that's the way it goes. He was nice enough to let me fill my water bottle, so I topped off all my water to the brim. I'm going to go head up here to Campfire Lake, and I could have shared the site with him, I guess, but he's used to being solo, and I didn't want to interrupt that. So that's alright. I can see what Campfire Lake's like. Hopefully there's a spot to put a tent, you know. But that's the way it goes. Well, good evening from the Powwow Trail. I'm not actually on a lake. Long story, here's a short version. I was, after hanging out at Quadca there for a while, talking to that guy, filled all my water bottles all the way up because I knew Campfire Lake doesn't have access to the water. And so, it looked like it was about a half mile away after you take the spur trail from Quadca back to the main trail, and I did that. And I just got into a great big swamp. The trail goes through a big grassy swamp, which is really wet. I was really surprised, actually. It's the only really wet spot on the trail so far that we had any link to it, but went for quite a while. So I got across that thing, and I was walking and watching for the campsite, and I could see I saw the lake. I saw it right away, actually. Well, it was maybe right after the flooded swamp. But anyway, I looked for that campsite for any access off the trail. I couldn't find it, so I thought, well, I must be further ahead. So I walked quite a ways further ahead and back and forth. I thought this was the short version, right? Anyway, I couldn't find it. I just kept trying. I got out my inReach. I followed that for a while, but I didn't have that pinned, so I don't know exactly where it was. And so I even got out my phone with my app. I can Bluetooth from my inReach, and I just couldn't. The imagery wasn't good enough to see what's going on. So I just started walking east, and I walked for quite a while, and eventually the sun is about to set. And so I decided, you know what, I better just set up camp somewhere. I'm not going to make it to Marathon Lake, or supposedly you could camp in the green zone by Diana Lake, but to heck with it, I'm going to just look. And so here's what I did. I just was, I mean, I was looking on the sides, I was looking everywhere, nothing you can do. So right here on the trail, on top of this hill, I'm actually way up on a hill, you can see in the distance, it's way darker out here than the camera probably shows, but kind of a big wide spot here, and it was really flat, and there was no brush. It's actually the nicest tent pad I pretty much have had all trip, really. And there's moose droppings there, moose plums. So I just, yeah, I'm not 200 feet from the trail. That's impossible here without a whole bunch of work. I figured, you know, it's sunset and nobody's gonna come by and care. I'm not having a fire. I am keeping all my stuff packed in the tent like I usually do anyway, hiking. And I'm just sitting right here. I've just made a little bit of food, just eating a little food. I'll probably snack a little bit more. And hung my earth sack down there in the trail. Wow, it looks really bright. It's not really that bright out here, but the sun is completely set. Some nice color there too. I wish I would have had a view. But, so here I am. I'm dispersed camping right on the trail. I'm somewhere between Quadca Lake Spur Trail and Diana Lake, because I know there's a green zone there and I haven't got to that yet. I think I might be getting close to the green zone. If I look ahead up in the trees up there, I think I see some bigger green trees, some taller, you know, greener trees, so I might be getting close to that. Either way, I'm not sure. Gotta camp somewhere. It's getting dark. It's already, I think, just about to freeze. It's just darn cold out here. So I'm gonna hang out here for a while till I'm about as cold as I want to be, and then I'm gonna crawl in the tent early. It is a really nice little spot. It's really no difference than being on a lake. This is all the water I was going to use anyhow, so I'll have enough to get to where I need to go tomorrow. Dang it, you know what I did? All these times I've camped with my gravity water filter. I've camped on all over the place. And I finally did it. I forgot my tree strap. My tree strap is on Quadca Lake on that campsite. I was talking to the guy packing, I mean, he was really nice and let me fill my water bottles there, right in the campsite. And I remember packing it all up, and I've always, as soon as I take the water bag down, I quickly take the tree strap off so I don't forget it. Well, I forgot it. So there it is on Quadca Lake. Oops. I'm gonna give a little update here from in the tent here. It's getting pretty dark, getting pretty cold. Sun is completely set. I don't know, it's supposed to get really chilly tonight. But as maybe if you didn't see my previous story there about the dispersed camping, I'm dispersed camping on the trail because that's where I go. I ran out of time, I messed up. I did not find the Campfire Lake campsite. I don't know how I missed it. I mean, I must have went past it. It must be way earlier than I think, closer to the Quadca Trail Spur than I think it was. That big grassy swamp that was flooded, it was really wet. Actually got my shoes quite wet. I just messed that up. So here I am. I'm gonna sleep right here. It's actually a pretty nice little spot. Nice gravelly, it's an old gravel logging road covered in moss and stuff, and it's pretty decent. Gonna hang out in the tent here just a little bit more and get myself in bed. Thanks for watching.